to me, anytime you go to these conferences, when you can directly engage with them, that's really what you get away. I end up talking, and they actually kicked us out of that area, and we had to go to a different bar because eventually the after party closed in the area where we were, and they're like, you don't have to go home, but you can't be here." Welcome to Business Technicalities. I am joined by Sean today. We're going to talk about the context of conferences and maybe some McLovin here.
Dude, again, what this is
Yeah.
an idol of mine. I would love to have this license. I know you can have it made, of course, and it's awesome, but my God, McLovin was the man. Talk about relevance these days. It's I was
And
at a birthday party and my little cousin, he had this shirt on. I'm like, "Oh, that's a cool shirt." He's like, "Yeah, mom got it for me." He's like 12. I'm like, "Okay," or 11 maybe he is. I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." He's like, I was like, "That's an awesome movie." He's like, "What movie?"
it's a generation gap now.
Oh my God, it is. It is. So is. So yes. So how are you today, sir?
I am great, and I'm, recovering from all the fun at the conferences.
Dude. Yeah. I
Apparently,
made
there's a
this
picture of me going around internally at ConnectWise drinking.
there there yes, let
Huh.
me see if I can find this.
I haven't seen it. I've only heard about it, but I do know it was the beginning of Tom drinking at the conference, so it is
It
definitely.
was and not only that, it was it was somebody saying something really good about you. So Kyle Jackson is the culprit, just so we're clear. He's the one that shared the picture first. So um
Everyone's waiting for this picture to come up.
I'm
Sean's like, "Hold on, I must redact many things before this comes up."
I had to go through the messages. I wasn't planning on sharing this, but I will now.
That it was the IT Nation Secure 2022 conference, specifically where this occurred. But the context me and Sean are going to be talking about, besides Tom drinking, which is just amusement outside of it.
Oh,
Well,
so good.
yeah, it is. It is. It actually is. I know who I was standing next to as well. I'm very good at memorizing things like that. It was the
Okay,
evening.
well, I can't tell who you were.
Oh, you should know he works for ConnectWise.
I can't, no, I can't, there's nobody, I can't see anybody next to you.
Oh, okay. I didn't know how cropped in the photo was.
Oh, no,
So
it's you, center stage. Um,
that's great. But
and ready? And
yes.
there.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I can even I don't know why he's not wearing his hat, but I know who's standing behind me as well. His
That
his
is
hat would have
true.
gave him away. So yes.
So for all those thinking that, this is how at conferences we stay hydrated to prepare for the following events that should occur.
Yes.
Yes.
Uh,
I'm trying to make
right.
it sound
You're
like
trying to make it sound more professional. No, this was
it's
the
so
good
bad.
news is this was the evening after all of it, but a lot of this what the conferences do and why you go to the talks, you find some friends there essentially by going to these talks. We go in there, and specifically some of these friends were all attending, and the person on the other side of me that's not in photo because of the angle they're standing at, well, they work for the ConnectWise control team. They were doing how to secure your ConnectWise control instances. And one of the things I think I've liked it referred to as, and when I go to a hacking or Linux conference, we call it the hallway track, was always the best track, which is all of us hanging out in the hallway. Well, the hallway for this was they put us in a place where we had free drinks. And then, of course, more drinks were brought in by people like Jason, like when I
Yes.
was drinking. He's like, "Here, try this." People were handing bottles of liquor. Nonetheless, the starting point of the conversation was how to secure your ConnectWise control instances, which then, because we're all in the same room together, once the talk was over, these little sessions, we all wandered out and we want to just carry on the conversation. And that's one of the most important things when you go to these conferences is raise your hand, participate, then people notice you. Or if you have an angle to it, even someone had talked to me about proxying something, and I just said, come on. I said, don't bother these guys on stage because I understand like they only have so much time to cover so many questions. The person had a bigger question about it, so I ended up talking to that person. I'm like, "Hey, just talk to me right after. I've actually got a whole methodology for doing this, and it goes out of scope of what they actually do." But then the guy who is the lead developer, he joined in. He was actually standing over there as well. So yeah, it just turned into That's what really leads to the more engaging conversations. And this was really cool with the IT Nation Secure event and any event where you have the developer team there as well. By the way, the developers weren't the ones up on stage. They had another group presenting. The developers are hanging out in the back. And once I had some more questions, but that was really, to me, anytime you go to these conferences, when you can directly engage with them, that's really what you get away. I end up talking, and they actually kicked us out of that area, and we had to go to a different bar because eventually the after party closed in the area where we were, and they're like, you don't have to go home, but you can't be here."
Well, that first let's talk about the venue. The venue was awesome for this, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
There was not a shortage of places to go. You
No,
know,
no, that's
being outside or
very
inside.
important.
It was right. It was amazing. So so you and I are from two. We were established before two different sides of the spectrum, right? You're going in as an MSP, as a gatherer for information for how to improve your business and to meet other people, right? Well, and everybody thinks that vendors are different, but vendors are exactly the same. We're going into information gather, learn from other people, see how we can improve our business. Yes, you said something really, really, really insightful, which was um, when you're sitting down, what this is supposed to be is a conversation starter,
Right,
because there's no way I can't possibly cover everything you would need for your business in a 45-minute presentation, right? And
right,
but even if I pick one topic to really cover the from A to Z, there's no way I can cover that. And I've done many presentations, because and it's because it's not a one size fits all, and you might have different whatever. You're really case in point. Like you said, you didn't build your stack like a regular MSP did. You vetted certain things and based off of what your needs were at the time. So there's no one way of doing this, right?
yeah, but there's to your side as well, your goals are met in a slightly different way because you, as, someone working for ConnectWise doing this, you put us in front of the vendors, and the vendors get a better understanding of how we're using the tools. And,
Absolutely.
hey, literally by sitting and having drinks with them, talking about how this works or how that works, that one-on-one conversation to have with them or different ways to implement things like, "Oh, that's a clever way to do it," type thing. And that's where that conversation, lets them build a better product because we have a better conversation. It's awkward when they call us, and it's never at the right time when a cold call comes in because there is no right time for a cold call, whether you're making them or receiving them. Look, everyone's just awkward in this situation, man. It's just nothing good's
I,
happening.
I feel like cold calls are like, at the restaurant when the waitress or waiter waits for you to take a bite of food, and that's when they come to check on you
Yep.
because they know you can't talk.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. They
that's
don't
a
want
cool.
you to get any more things. They're just like, I got to get
No,
this
they don't
done.
want you to complain.
Someone
Like,
told me I have to do this right now. You got a mouthful of food. Perfect. I
yep.
can
Is everything
maliciously comply.
okay? I don't know. That's you get, and it's exactly the same thing. So you are right there, but you're absolutely correct in regards to for ConnectWise side, our perspective, especially my perspective personally too. Being the evangelist for the economy of ConnectWise is about really starting to leverage and create and share amongst peers from vendors to partners and provide solutions, not necessarily platform solutions, but whatever a solution means to the person or company for everybody to have success. It's a fact, and you need it because it's not, again, not a one size fits all, which means there's not one company that provides every single thing that your company needs. That's a fact. So you have to leverage all, and we want to learn, and we're helping to vet. That's the other big part about what we worked on. And I don't want to speak all about ConnectWise only because this is not the ConnectWise show,
Right.
but I'd rather talk about as far as what you should look for in a conference with any conference because we have CompTIA coming up, ChannelCon in August, which is
Yes.
always a good show.
Yep, I'll be there at that one, and speaking of our other Chicago one, when we went to the other channel
Oh
show,
yeah, Channel Pro.
Channel Pro. So each one of these shows is some of the same thing, and both shows, so 2 times, the ConnectWise one and previously at the one in Chicago, I misunderstood a vendor's product by reading their website, and I
Yep.
feel as though I've been around long enough, I shouldn't have misunderstood it. I blame their marketing, not me, but
Well, you might be right to some degree because it's
yeah, because maybe that's why they're having, trouble getting market traction on it, I suggest,
because
because they
nobody
could
knows why.
'cause,
No,
yeah, nobody knows why, but now I understand their product better. Matter of fact, there was 2 of them because I spent a lot of time in the vendor booths. There were 2 of them that I got a better understanding of their product. One made them removed from my list. One, I started my demo yesterday of their product because they have a really clever marketing, thing with it where
nice.
they give you an NFR license and a bunch of other stuff. I think they did everything right, but I never seen that from their website, never seen it from their sales pitch, but boy, when I met them in person, and I'm like, and I knew their head of sales for a little while because he used to work at another company that of a product I did use. I'm like, you
Right.
could have just reached out to me and called. He was always good, but I see him there and we have a great conversation and boom, I'm set up for a demo. Like, no problem. I'm
That's
like,
awesome. But okay, but let's go from the beginning of what you said. You went to the website. You didn't understand what they did, right? This is a common problem with MSPs too. If I ask MSP what do they do,
yeah, you do not
what,
always get the right answer.
what's the answer? Right? They all say something different, right?
Yeah,
Your answer should match up to what problem you solve. Not everything in that takes it to solve the problem, but what is the end problem? And some guys have it down packed. They're good. They say, look, we're an IT provider that helps you keep your company running. You don't have to worry about the back end of the IT solutions. That's on us. And they're done. We're
right.
good. People understand IT. They don't understand MSP. You can even say we fix computers, but that's a little bit vague. I mean,
Yeah,
or
right,
maybe
right,
it's a
right.
little bit too narrow and you're siloed off. But really, at the end of the day, we are a trusted IT partner. We are your CTO, your CIO, whatever you want to call yourself. This is the conversation you should be having. Probably CIO, I guess, probably more so than CTO, huh?
Yeah, yeah. It's
I guess it depends on what you're providing for the project too, right? Because you
exactly,
could
dude,
be
exactly. Because we just matter of fact, I was late jumping on here with you because we were having a deep conversation about we're getting together to do a big consulting project with an entirely big internal IT team. So it's a strategy session between 3 of my staff and about 10 of theirs about how we're gonna do something. So it's gonna be complex, which is fun. Those are the projects we love.
I would love for people that watch this video to give us their pitch on what they are. I would
Yeah,
love you can write it in the comments. And whoever has the best, and we can even do, I don't care. We'll set up a voting. I don't care. Whoever wins, they come on, they pitch on our video, whatever.
yeah,
Honestly, it can only help. It can't hurt. Honestly, I spent years selling. So working on pitches for me was very difficult of understanding. And when I went to a new company, I always thought I knew what the heck they did. And then I realized I didn't know anything what they did after I went
yeah.
through it. Like I was like, I thought you did this, but meanwhile you really do this. And it's not, and
Right,
it's
right.
and it's not all their fault. It's a collective fault.
And this is why, we see lots of different ways to sell things, but this is technological as I am and dive deep and hide in a basement most of the time behind a keyboard. I see the value, and I hope everyone else listening to this understands the value that going in person for these conferences has the bigger picture of it. I got a large group of friends, and this is one of those things you have to decide. Are you going to RSA or IT Nation? They lined up in dates.
Yep.
Even with, I'm lucky because the day the CompTIA one ends is also the day I fly out for Black Hat. So I got to line all that scheduling up too. More conferences and overlap, but the value you get out of them is absolutely better understanding, and a lot of good camaraderie. I mean, my LinkedIn connections, a lot of them you make in real time while you're there. I love the fact that I think we're finally not handing out business cards anymore. There's I I went
Yeah.
in conference and there's four business cards, which
Yeah.
by the way, I added them on LinkedIn. They handed me their card, but I'm like, I already added them on LinkedIn prior to.
Yeah.
So
That's a really good point as well. Connections,
yeah,
staying connected with them because I find it that, and because look how many people we met, look how many people we saw, right? It's impossible to remember everybody you met, even if you send them a LinkedIn invite and you connect.
right.
Unless, so how do you make something happen afterwards? For me, if there's interest in a conversation, like I literally have 7 text messages from people I met when I was having a cigar that were MSPs. I was like, so they're like, this is my first secure. We've been customers for years. And I'm like, I would like to talk to you next week sometime
Yep.
on your experience. I texted them that night as I was talking to him, and I said, "I want to talk to you next week about your experience at Secure." I literally said that in the text. So now the next day when I look, I'm like, "Oh, who's Rob? Okay." And so I've already set these meetings up, people. So figure out a way. So back to the daytimer
Mhm.
conversation. Figure out a way to take notes somewhere, somehow, some way, so that you can actually maintain a relationship and especially if it's interesting. I'm not saying do that with every single person because my God, I met 1,000 people.
So here's the thing, and I'll give a pitch to Jordan Harbinger. He's got this really cool thing he does. It's a class on how to build processes to connect with people, completely free. This is not a sales pitch. He has nothing he sells you. He's not a salesman at all. He just runs a podcast, and he's got a pretty cool pitch on it. But what you do in that pitch, this is the takeaway. If too long didn't want to feel like going through his free course, didn't feel like signing up for it, you write a script. And I've got the same script. I haven't sent to Sean because I talked to him too much, but people who I haven't talked to in a while have seen this script. You know, I pulled up my screen, so I want to read it directly. Hey, insert name here. Tom here. And I always put your name because you never know when people lost your text. Obviously, you don't need to if you're
Yep.
messaging on LinkedIn, they have your name. But when it comes to text messaging, put your name in there.
Always.
Always. Have not spoken in a while. I hope this message finds you well. What's the latest for you? No rush and reply if you're busy. Always give them a little out in case they don't give them the anxiety to feel they have to reply. I like to hear what you are up to when you get a chance. It's really simple. By the way, throw that in your calendar 2 weeks out when you want to reconnect with someone. It's really simple. And for people who are not as extroverted as I appear on camera, I'm so
No,
Sean. Yes, I
no,
am not.
you're not. As soon
I'm
as
a
I walk up
wallflower,
to
man.
you,
It's hard.
I every time I walk up to Tom in person, I make him hug me, and it's so uncomfortable for him, which makes me
Tom
more
is
comfortable.
it look, social distancing is a lifestyle choice, not because of any recent events.
Ah,
My yeah, I
everything
learned my
about it.
lifestyle is called shelter in place too. I that's what the pandemic taught me.
That is so awesome. The pandemic was
So,
your friend.
but that's actually why I recommended the Jordan Harbinger course because it's free. I'll throw a link down below to if anyone's interested. It's just really
Please.
cool. Um, It's called like 6 minute networking or something like that. But Jordan's also an introvert and he put together these processes. He's a pretty famous public speaker, but he did so. He's also got a background in hacking and technical things, but he has to put things in processes because if not, he doesn't understand how to approach or talk to someone, which is weird for a guy who's also a literal famous public speaker who spoke at, little places like Google or
Oh,
Microsoft. And
that's
he's, yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah,
he's not
he's,
really so he's not really established. So why are you talking
nah,
about this
yeah,
guy?
yeah.
He obviously hasn't done much.
Right. So, nonetheless, but if you start putting a process to it, you can connect with people, you can do it, but it also helps with these conferences, throw it in there and make notes. That way, and I do, I'm reaching back out to people. I know, and it's funny because I know they're socially awkward as me because they're security people. So I know,
Yes. Well, okay. How many of you guys exist, right?
uh,
That are able to run the line of being a tech guy that's socially awkward and still have high level communication skills and be able to be an extrovert introvert?
yeah,
'Cause I think that's the question, right? At the end of it, you
well,
are you are an extrovert. You're an extroverted introvert.
I talk about the subjects I'm good at, and then I'm a
Sure.
wallflower outside of it. So I can't just walk in a room and always strike up a conversation because I have everything has to have a purpose in my head. Like I have to have a reason for this. Security conference is easy. My purpose is going to be, but and so is theirs. They're
Yeah.
like, oh, cool, purpose driven conversation where hey, we were just at this conference. We're talking about how to secure these sessions, or we're at this conference. We're talking about a better way to do this thing, or a better way to implement, or what about these new security controls that we have to manage here. Any one of those is a conversation starter that came from the talk that was given. So now I have a reason to talk to the person next to me.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just figuring out that and purpose driven. So
But that's all conferences.
yeah,
I've been in the conference circuit for a long time, obviously. I've done a lot of them. And when I have new employees that are fresh into this, they always get nervous at conferences. They don't want to offend people and overstep. And you said it really well earlier, and I'll add to it, just the fact that at conferences, vendors, partners, whoever, everybody's looking to see how they can get help and to give help.
yes,
Whatever that means, each person is different, of course. But the fact that it matters, everybody's willing to talk and have conversations.
yeah, and that's what matters.
Yes, it does,
So
because you can learn so much from it. And if you find a topic you like, you can run with it for
yes.
hours. You
So
know,
that's what we'll wrap it up with. Go to these conferences. That's the reason. Even if you're socially awkward, even more so because it's probably where you're actually going to learn something. You're going to have more engagement,
yes.
and you know why you're there. You know why you're going to be at the CompTIA one. You know why
Yep.
you're going to be a black hat. You know why you went to the other ones we mentioned.
Oh
So
my God, yeah. But have a game plan before you
yeah,
go to some things that you want to see. Okay,
yes,
have a
yeah.
game plan
Fill
for
out your
certain
agenda.
things.
Make sure you're at all the talks. Get
Be
that done ahead of time.
be like the Griswolds going to Europe. Honestly, pick a few spots and run with it, and make sure you don't do the fast food concept where you just run through, see a note, grab a flyer, walk away, because chances are
Yeah.
you're not going to put any effort into it. So take time, pick those things that you know you want to do, go check those ones out,
Yep.
and then you fill in the rest with actually just more information gathering for you for whatever strikes your fancy at that point, and collaborate with all the people at the conference because you'll find so much more information from that
Yep.
alone. It's like, I was about to say it's like Reddit, but better. But Reddit's its own special animal, so I can't really say that. But you know,
Yes.
but you can learn a lot. And also for you guys, I met several MSPs that were so strong on what they did. Can you imagine MSPs that are just starting having a chance to sit down with those
Yes.
guys?
Well, I know that's who a lot of them will watch us. So listen to us, take our advice, go to the conferences, sign
Yes.
up, especially if you're new. You can easily take it off when you're new because you don't have any clients yet.
No, right. You have nothing better to do. Come on down.
You have nothing better to do. Come
Actually,
to the conference.
I'll extend this right now. If you want to come to a ConnectWise conference and you're new, not a client of ours today, reach out to me. If there's a way we can give you some sort of help with getting there, I will
Yeah,
be happy to do so. I will look
absolutely.
into it if possible. But I welcome this. We encourage it. We all do this together. So by all means,
Absolutely.
look me up. You'll find me. I'm everywhere. I'm the best
Awesome.
dressed guy.
Yep. He may have a goat hat on, he may have a McLovin shirt. Look for the dude in the unusual attire.
I'm eclectic.
Yeah, there we go. Thanks for joining us. Looking forward to hearing from you guys. Leave some comments and feedback below. Thanks.
Bye all.